So today we're going to talk about the vital role of the Direct Support Professional, or DSP. And look, this is way more than just a job description. We're talking about a professional journey that's all about partnership, respect, and really truly improving a person's life.
All right, to get us started, I want to ask you a question. And I'm serious. Take a second and really think about it. What makes your life good? Is it hanging out with your friends, getting to decide what you do with your day, feeling safe and comfortable where you live? Keep those things in mind, because they are exactly what being a DSP is all about.
And that leads us right here. Because your core mission as DSP is just that, to help someone have a good quality of life. I mean, it's not just a part of the job, it's the whole point. Now, when you look at what quality of life actually means, none of this stuff should be a surprise, right? This is just human stuff. Making your own choices, having people who care about you, feeling safe, being treated with respect. A DSP's work is all about understanding that these aren't special needs. They're just human needs, period. And hey, this isn't just some theory from a textbook. When people with developmental disabilities were actually asked what a good life means to them, they said things like, I want to live where I want to live. I get to choose my own friends. And this big one right here, I make my own decisions. The whole goal of a DSP is to help make these things a reality. Okay, so how do you actually help make that happen? Well, it all comes down to one really simple but powerful idea. You've got to see the person first. Always. And this is such a perfect example of what that looks like in the real world. Because language really, really matters. This isn't about being politically correct. It's about being respectful and accurate. When you say people with disabilities, you put the person first. The disability is just something they have. It's not who they are. And think about it. She uses a wheelchair. That's a tool, right? It helps her get around. But she's confined to a wheelchair? That sounds like she's trapped. The words we choose totally change the picture. It all boils down to this incredible line from self-advocates. It's just such a great reminder to always look past a diagnosis or a label and connect with the unique person standing right in front of you. So just so we're all on the same page, when we talk about a developmental disability, this is what we mean based on the legal definition. It's something that starts before age 18, it's lifelong, and it has a big impact on several major parts of life. So knowing the definition is useful for sure, but we can never, ever let that label be bigger than the person themselves. Okay, so we've got this foundation of respect, people first. But what does a DSP actually do every day? And the answer is a lot. This is not a simple job. You're going to be wearing a whole bunch of different important hats. Yeah, the word caregiver just doesn't cover it, not even close. You're a partner, a teacher, an ambassador, an advocate, and a supporter. And each one of those roles is totally different and needs its own set of professional skills. So as a partner, you're right there with them, helping them live as independently as possible. As a teacher, you're finding creative ways to help them learn new skills. As an ambassador, you're out there building bridges to the community. As an advocate, you're making sure their voice is heard and their rights are respected. And as a supporter, you're there to help them chase their own dreams and goals. So with all these different roles you're playing, how do you know you're making the right call? You need something to guide you, right? A kind of moral compass. And that compass is built on some really clear values that are actually written into law. All right, so true north on that compass, it's all about choice. There's a law in California, the Lanterman Act, and it's crystal clear about this. Individuals have the right to make decisions about their own lives, where they live, where they work, who they hang out with. So your job isn't to decide for them, it's to help them make their own decisions. Next up, another huge one, relationships. And look, this isn't just a nice to have thing. It's a basic human right. The right to have friends, to be with family, to fall in love. And as DSP, you have a really important part to play in helping people build and keep those connections. And then there's this, rights and responsibilities. This one is absolutely non-negotiable. People with developmental disabilities have the same legal rights as everyone else. The right to privacy, good care, and to be safe from harm. And guess what? You, the DSP, are often the first line of defense making sure those rights are protected. Okay, so when you take all of this stuff, the focus on quality of life, putting people first, all those different professional hats you wear, and these guiding values, it all boils down to one simple, powerful rule for how you should act day in and day out. We all grew up with the golden rule, right? Treat others as you want to be treated. But see, there's a little problem with that. It kind of assumes that everybody wants the same thing you want. The standard for a professional DSP is a step up. It's called the platinum rule. Treat others as they want to be treated. See that tiny shift from you to they? That one little word changes absolutely everything. So, what does that actually look like? It means you have to listen. You have to watch. You have to really understand before you do anything. It means the support you give is built around them, their needs, their strengths, their wants, not what you think they want. Honestly, it's the highest form of respect you can show someone. And that leads us to the last and maybe the most important question of all, because this is where the real work, the skilled work of being a DSP really starts. See, it's not about you having all the answers. It's about you knowing how to find them by listening, by watching, by communicating. So the one question that should guide you every single day on this journey is this: how are you going to learn what they want?